I hear dogs clacking above me on the main floor. Click, 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 click.
Tell the dogs to shut up, or I will shut them up.
Howdy, it's Wednesday, September 18th, 2019, and this is episode 108 of Due for a Win, the Atlantic City and Casino Biz podcast. I'm Kyle Askin, joined, as always, by Craig Stone. What's good, Craig?
Fading my sports picks is good.
Oh, yeah.
I've been on a cold streak.
We've been doing okay in the football pool. We're 4-2. That's not bad.
4th out of 7.
Yeah, it's disappointing, frankly, with 8 points out of a possible 12. You'd think we would be doing a little better than that, but...
Apparently, the group of podcasts should just be a service where people pay us for picks because we're all experts.
Yeah, maybe. It's been going pretty well so far, though, for us. We've won our 3 both weeks, been Dallas both weeks,
yeah.
So with them being like 500-point favorites against Miami, we might have to change it up this week, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know if I can go 21.5 on Dallas, even though Miami just got thumped by way more than that twice at home.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
On the show right now, in depth, let us run down.
Do you feel strongly about either Tennessee or Jacksonville? Because then we can talk about it, else we can wait for later in the week.
No, I have no strong feelings about anything related to the podcast superiority pool, specifically our picks in the podcast superiority pool.
Yeah.
There is going to be a week where we're just like putting it in the random number generator and saying whatever happens, happens.
Well, we are fools and picked Houston to beat Jacksonville. So all I can say is that we're fools. 2 people picked Jacksonville. We picked Houston. They were right. We were wrong.
Yeah.
Houston won the game, but certainly did not cover. Not even close.
Hey, they were covering at some point in the second half.
No, they were covering in the fourth quarter. And then they won by 1 because Jacksonville went for 2 at the end of the game, which I respect.
Yeah.
Anyway, what happened in 2008, Craig?
2008, the year of the new towers in Atlantic City. The Chairman Tower at the Trump Taj Mahal opened. It is now the North Tower of Hard Rock. It's 41 stories tall, 782 rooms, and cost $255 million to build. And also the Water Club opened at Borgata, which is 38 stories tall, has 800 guest rooms, and cost $400 million to build. So significantly more expensive, presumably because it has like 5 pools in it, and shopping and other stuff.
Also nicer.
Significantly nicer.
Although, we wouldn't know because I don't think either of us have ever stayed in either of those towers, right?
No, we have not. For all we know, the Chairman Tower, so much nicer than the Water Club.
I doubt it, but well, you never know.
That's true. We don't have a bunch of listeners who would tell us, so...
Right.
It's one of those things that you just can never know the answer to.
There's not all that many towers in Atlantic City that we haven't stayed in, but I guess there are kind of a lot still. But those are 2 of them.
I mean, the one
2
thing...
of the more surprising entries, given
yes.
the number of times we've stayed at both those properties.
Right.
We've never been put in the North Tower or, well, the Water Club you have to book separate.
Right. The thing that struck me is that these both happened in 2008, so adding 1,600, almost 1,600 hotel rooms to the Atlantic City landscape in 2008, famously the beginning of the recession. So that was kind of shocking and obviously bad timing, but, 2007 was the peak gambling revenue in Atlantic City at $5.2 billion. So obviously everybody was thinking, oh, great, let's increase capacity. And I think compounding the issue, the issues that the recession caused was having a ton of expansion at the same time. So not the best.
Not the finest.
You could also take your company private right around then.
Yeah, we don't know of any CEOs, any love men that did that.
Yes. What a time to be alive.
So also in 2008, Trump Entertainment had a deal to sell Trump Marina for $316 million to Coastal Development, who's going to make it into a Margaritaville-themed casino. So we would have had that there instead of in resorts, presumably. But in true Atlantic City style, Coastal Development could not get enough financing, even after the price was later reduced to $270 million. And then, if you fast forward 3 years later, Landry's bought Trump Marina for $38 million. So for 1/10 the price, they ended up getting it 3 years in the future.
It's more than 1/10. It's like, a ninth.
Fair.
But yeah, so Landry's owners of the Golden Nugget turned it into the Golden Nugget. But I mean, it really, having lived it, and paid a lot of close attention to it, that time period did not seem so fast, right? Like, it seemed like a slower decline than this, like going from these valuations down to where things, weren't selling for even $20 and $30 million.
Did it? I don't really think so.
You thought it seemed very fast? See,
yeah.
You had been going longer, so to me, this was like the start
in 2008,
of
you still have not been to Atlantic City at this point. It was like 2010 that you went first?
It was the very start of 2010. So this was all happening like in the start of my Atlantic City going.
Right.
So, I mean, part of me saw this and was shocked, like, wow, only 3 years and that happened. So you're saying you were not shocked.
It doesn't seem like it was long after that at all that we were talking about things like, $10 million offers for Atlantic Club and for Trump Plaza. So
yeah,
I thought it was pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean, and so also I have a feeling these, next few episodes, 2009, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Some
exciting things happening.
Yeah, episode 114, I think we should just skip it.
It's like the 13th floor of a hotel.
Because then we'd be talking about 2014.
The fourth seat at the Pai Gow table. Skip that.
Do they really skip the fourth seat? Is that like an Asian thing?
It is, yes, a very unlucky number.
Really? Wow. Maybe I shouldn't even be playing Pai Gow if I don't know this stuff.
Yeah, probably. That's probably why you do so badly at it.
I'm sitting there wearing like a number 4 sports jersey, talking about the number 4.
The gore.
The goose.
Yes.
At the Pai Gow tiles. All right, we're confusing the people. What about 1908?
Nucky Johnson, famous from Boardwalk Empire, was elected sheriff as a 25-year-old. His first elected position. He'd been undersheriff under his father since 1905, but his father's term expired in 1908. He would later hold various positions in AC area politics and business, was the boss of AC's Republican political machine for almost 3 decades, and you can find out more about him in Boardwalk Empire by Nelson Johnson, or watch the show on HBO, which I've seen like the first 2 episodes of.
Same, I have also seen the first 2 episodes. It's a good first 2 episodes. Boardwalk Empire, the book, nonfiction, by the way. Mm-hmm. Very good sort of history of Atlantic City, mostly focused on Nucky Johnson. So, just interesting. So I wonder if we're going to get now the next bunch of episodes where we go back to the 1900s are going to be Nucky themed or...
That's good. It's what I think of every time I walk down the Trop and I walk right by the Ritz. I think of Nucky Johnson. That's...
In his lavish penthouse, despite his public salary of like, $11,000 a year or whatever he was making.
Every time I walk by the Ritz, it's just like, Nucky Johnson used to live there.
It's where the Steele's Fudge is.
Mm-hmm.
I can only assume Nucky Johnson loved the Steele's Fudge.
Yes, I'm sure that was definitely a Steele's Fudge in 1908.
The Steele's Fudge opened in 1919.
In the Ritz?
I would be very surprised.
Yes.
So, are we going to the Horseshoe on Saturday night? Baltimore.
I think that's up to you and not up to me, right?
I could even kick the can further and say it's up to my kids. Well, one of my kids. The less cooperative of my kids. Cooperating.
If it was up to Holden, you would be at the Horseshoe?
Oh, yeah. That would be no problem at all. My daughter is sleeping over with Paul's daughter, and we will be relying on Paul's wife to get the kids to bed and the kids not to drive her insane. And that is what it's up to.
Should be fine. He should be sleeping by like 10, right?
I would certainly hope. So the real question is, like, how short notice can you be in Horseshoe, right? Because I'm going to get that text, like, yeah, they're in bed.
Probably pretty quick.
And the other question is, you're not going to be like, go pound sand. I'm going to bed with this uncertainty.
No, I don't think so. Or I might just be at the Horseshoe, regardless of what you do.
That's what I like about you, Kyle. I can rely on you even when I am being unreliable.
Yes.
To be at a casino specifically.
So here is the question for you, Craig. When are we going to Atlantic City?
I'm talking about the Horseshoe right now, Kyle. I have $15 in free slot play. More than I get in Atlantic City at the Caesars properties.
Horseshoe does give pretty generous comps, I have to say.
Yeah. The cricket is there, and is loud.
It's back, yes.
He has thoughts, actually, about when we're going to Atlantic City next.
I've moved my studio into the basement, and this is just what we're going to have to live with. So
You're joined in studio.
Yes, by a live guest.
He's like a heckler.
Due for a refund.
Yes, due for a refund. That's the cricket's like, hey, I'm just sitting here to read your 1-star reviews.
I think that's the only 1-star review I've seen so far.
The shrillest voice possible. Oh, there are more.
I'll have to look.
No, I don't think anybody actually wrote them. I think they just clicked the 1-star and then moved along.
That's boring. You should at least write something like due for a refund. Although then the comment, that was like the title, and the comment was like, it's only okay, or something like that.
Yeah, that's fine. Anyways.
Atlantic City, Craig, you're not going to avoid the question.
And I can't commit to anything.
Any weekday.
Any weekday?
You're probably up to like 2 sick days now from 1?
I have 3 vacation days.
Yeah.
And 3 unscheduled holidays.
What's like the next holiday?
Unscheduled, I can use them whenever. It's just like random leave that you have to use within the year.
Good.
You're supposed to use it between Christmas and New Year's. But I don't necessarily follow the rules. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about... I don't have a good answer. I feel like it's going to be...
Next week.
Ooh, that'd be good. I'm thinking mid-October.
Okay.
Don't you have a bunch of stuff in October? You can't do any of this anyway?
I have stuff on the weekend. I can go during the week for a day trip.
It's true, for a day trip. Ooh, so you would even do a day trip. That's rough for you.
I would do a day trip, man. Come
All
on.
right.
We haven't been... I've been once this year.
I know, same. We're going to have to either just not do best of or farm it out, I think.
Like hire some copywriters in India or something to do it?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Algorithm. Just write an algorithm to pick.
That's true. Like the ones that write the sports reports now or whatever.
Yeah. Get a panel of experts.
That's true. We should just get Justin to do it.
He can pick like best dive bar.
Mm-hmm.
We can get, I don't know, Eric can pick the bougiest casino.
Eric can pick best comp program.
Yes.
Ocean.
Yes, he has many thoughts. We'll have more about that. First, though, Army of the Dead, the movie we talked about being filmed at the former Atlantic Club, also filmed at the Showboat. So they've added a second AC former casino property to what they deem post-apocalyptic Las Vegas. And last episode I said, I can't believe there wasn't an Army of the Dead already, but there was. A 2009 straight-to-video movie, also called Army of the Dead. So are you getting excited as more locations unfold for the Army of the Dead zombie apocalypse Vegas movie being filmed in Atlantic City?
No.
Okay, let's move on.
To your favorite place, Sandy Shoes, also known as Sandy's Hose.
Yes, they heard that I was calling it Sandy's Hose, and they have changed the name. It's now the Beach House Bar and Kitchen. That's fine. It's a fine name.
Yeah, it's the name of a bar and restaurant that could be at the beach.
I like it better than Sandy Shoes. Like, Sandy Shoes doesn't make me want to eat there. They do have specials on football Sundays that they've posted on their Facebook page. 25-cent wings, $2 beers, $4 White Claws. I know how people like the White Claws. And $5 Jameson and Fireball shots. That seems pretty reasonable for on the boardwalk for football Sunday.
It's not as good as the Faye, but what is, though?
The Faye.
25-cent wings, $1 beers.
Yeah. The Faye had many weird specials. The Santa Fe Cafe of College Park, Maryland.
Indeed. They also went out of business. So
they did.
Perhaps the specials were too good. Also, favorite thing about the Faye, when we would always sneak into the buffet, like, we'd get there 3 minutes before they started charging cover.
Yeah, that's the way to do it.
And everything in the buffet, they put barbecue sauce on, and we just had to speculate that, like, some purchasing manager there made, like, a horrible decision one day and bought, like, 18 barrels of barbecue sauce.
Yeah. Barbecue sauce, potato skins.
Yep.
Pizza with barbecue sauce.
The pizza with barbecue sauce instead of pizza sauce.
Yeah. I mean, it was probably just that they actually did not want you to eat the food. Like, we can make less of this food if we know nobody's going to eat it.
It was bad. But the yings and wings were good, man.
Yes. This is College Park, Maryland chat. Next
Yeah.
episode, the Jungle Grill, an in-depth review.
Do you mean the one in Trump Plaza?
Yes, I do. Do you want to talk about Ocean's awards program?
Sure. So Ocean has posted a picture of a temporary wall outside their shopping area with a wrap for the new Players Club, including perks you can earn with play, such as cruise with Carnival, escape to the Bahamas, stay in London, and drive a Mercedes-Benz, which I have to hope just means like you can drive it once is the reward.
Yeah, it's like you get to test drive it at like some Mercedes dealer in Egg Harbor Township. They're just like, you have to provide your own transportation there. Just drive out there, say, hey, I want to test drive like a C230 or something. And then, I don't know if a C230 is even a car.
Uh-huh.
And then they're like, okay. And then you say, do you need my player's card? And they're like, you're what? Just get in the car and drive. And that's the end of the thing.
So, anyway, it seems like the people on Twitter are underwhelmed, to say the least, given everything that Ocean has been through, which we've talked about in past episodes, with them expiring everyone's comps unexpectedly, doing a 6-month rolling expiration of your comps that you can't extend. Our friend of the podcast, Eric Rosenthal, in particular, has taken umbrage to this. I saw Jim from New York getting involved and a bunch of other podcast friends. I don't know. What do you think?
I'll link to their post about their new rewards program, which actually is followed by a whole string of tweets from Eric and Jim in New York. And Eric's point is basically, why would anybody trust what you have to say? Because you went and retroactively took people's comps, right? Like, people went to gamble thinking they were going to get these comps that only expired if you were inactive for 6 months. And then instead, after you had already earned the comps, they were like, we just expired comps that you had earned more than 6 months ago, even if you had been here in the last 6 months. So he said, like, I don't see why anybody would gamble even $1 there. So, I see his point. For me, who like never earns any comps anyway, it doesn't really affect me, but like, I am annoyed on a principle level. I don't know. I mean, I guess like if the perks are really good, I think they'll lure people back in anyway. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, we can talk a little bit more about it in the next segment as well when we talk about the numbers. But I mean, just as a spoiler, Ocean had a good August. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like they've rubbed a lot of players who are far bigger than either you or I the wrong way, to say the least, with this. So
right, and that's who it affects, right?
We'll see what happens. I mean, there's a way they could probably come out and try to make things better, but no one's ever actually seen any evidence of them actually trying to do that, instead of just trying to plaster over everything and be like, this is all fine, without actually changing anything.
Yeah. And then, of course, they unveil that big banner that we talked about last episode, which I think I said it was best of the press, but it was actually Casino Player Magazine was where they were rated best comps. They were rated best casino and best of the press. But anyway, should we talk August revenue?
Yeah, so August, it was a month.
I thought it was a pretty good month.
Well, so yeah, it's hard to tell.
There was an extra Saturday.
Right. So just the numbers, the month was up 6% from last year, and I know earlier in the year we said that our bogey was something like 12 to 15%, but that was before Hard Rock and Ocean were open last year, but now they are open last year, so, it's actually an apples-to-apples comparison these days. So 6%, it's pretty good, but when you do consider the extra Saturday, it's a lot less impressive than it seems, but I think all things considered, given where the city was 2 years ago at $223 million, $286 million is pretty good. So even with 9 casinos instead of 7.
Yeah, I mean, you've got basically nobody down huge. Tropicana was the biggest at 1.6% year over year. Harrah's down 0.5%. Everybody else is up. That seems pretty good.
Including Hard Rock and Ocean, who are both up 20+%.
Yeah, I mean, Hard Rock up 25. They put up $38.4 million. I think that's another really good month for them. It shows that their summers, their whole summer really was quite good and kind of more in line with probably what they were hoping for, when they opened. Ocean seems to be finally getting toward respectability. I still don't think this is where they want to be, considering how big that property is, but it's a significant improvement over where they were. It's their best month ever for either Ocean or Revel. Beats out Revel's July 2013 by about $700,000. So yeah, I mean, I actually think the numbers are pretty good. You know, like I said, you have to discount them a little because of the extra Saturday. But even with that, I mean, I think you figure the money spread around and figure like per weekend day or whatever you want to call it, everybody's probably only down slightly, with some big gainers like Hard Rock and Ocean. Resorts was up 5%. Everybody else or Caesars was up 10%, and everybody else was like right around even, within a couple percent, even mostly within 1%. So, any big macro takeaways that you want to have on a single month?
I think it was a pretty good month, even with the extra Saturday thing. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I think it's as a whole been a pretty decent year for Atlantic City. So we'll see what happens. And we're just talking about brick and mortar, which, you know, by all accounts, online is doing even better than brick and mortar by a pretty wide margin. So I think everyone's doing reasonably well, which is a pretty strange take, given that Tillman Fertitta came out and is complaining by saying it's not a 9-casino market. I don't understand why nobody realizes that. This is from a David Danza story in Press of Atlantic City. And his quote is, "This is what happened to Atlantic City the first time, and it's how the casinos got all run down. People don't have the money to keep their properties new and fresh by putting money back into it. I think it's a huge mistake again. It's a 7-casino market. When it was 7 casinos, everybody was putting money back into the properties, and now they aren't." So what do you think, Craig?
I'm trying to not do what I do a lot in this situation, which is when I disagree with someone. Maybe not even disagree, but when I have sort of like a base reaction of like, oh, I don't like what you're saying. To pick apart the things that are just obviously incorrect and then just focus on that rather than focusing on the general intent of the argument. So for one thing, like the first thing that popped out at me is like, nobody realizes that it's not a 9-casino market. Like, who is this nobody? Who's he talking to? Just about every analyst has said that this is not, that this is too big. I think all the casino operators would even agree that this is too big. The thing is, each individual casino operator thinks that they are doing the right thing with their specific properties, except maybe Caesars. I don't know. I mean, we'll find out more when El Dorado takes over and see how they feel about the 4 properties there. But so that's one thing. I thought that was a little like disingenuous, and I didn't really know who he's talking to. And the one thing that I think is like, maybe he's talking to politicians, you know, now that there's that talk of like, oh, they could limit the number of casino licenses that they give out in Atlantic City. But I feel like it's sort of self-serving in that way of sort of being like, well, I'm already here. And as somebody who was already here as one of the 7 and doing well, and, you know, we've talked that Golden Nugget's brick and mortar has not done well this year, really.
No, it's been pretty awful. I think Tropicana and Golden Nugget are the 2 losers this year.
Yeah, it sort of feels like him saying something that's like, not necessarily covering his own ass, but sort of like explaining his situation in a way that is not necessarily putting blame on himself or putting blame on whatever's happening at Golden Nugget, but saying like, oh, well, it's this larger issue to other actors doing bad things or whatever.
I agree. I think he's talking to the politicians. I think he's trying to talk to regulators, trying to get this bill or regulation or whatever passed that we talked about a few episodes ago, where they would lock down the market. They would say no more casinos are allowed at all. We just have these 9 and that's how it's going to be. And like, I think it's a little yucky, frankly. I mean, anytime you have these big businesses that are very kind of anti-regulation in normal situations, and then they're like, oh, you need to save us, regulators. Like, only you can prevent the city from going down. Like, I don't know. It's a bit self-serving when they would never be friends in any other situation.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where people are going to laud this as like, oh, such a straight shooter. Like, he speaks his mind and says what he means. And it's like, you know.
No, that's not what's happening.
He has an agenda here. And that's certainly the cynical view. But I don't think he's like sitting around fuming about this. I think he has an angle. And the other thing is, you know, he says that everybody was putting money back into the properties when it was a 7-casino market. We've specifically lamented, that is not the case.
Like, not just false, but incredibly false.
And, I mean, if you look at the history of Atlantic City, that's not the case, right? Like, when there were just casinos doing gangbusters and couldn't even,
right,
you know, fit enough people in the door like as much as the demand was.
Oh, it was both casino operators and Trenton both just like shoveling as much money as they possibly could without thinking about anything, right?
Right. So there wasn't a lot of, investment in necessarily making the experience better or whatever. It wasn't about making Atlantic City better. It was about, shoveling more money, like you said.
Bigger wheelbarrow.
It just doesn't seem like this holds a lot of water to me. And I think a lot of people are going to look at this and just think about it on face value and be like, well, he is right. It's not a 9-casino market, which it's not. Like that, he has a point. Like it is.
I mean,
it is at the moment. Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with the premise. I mean, I think all the casinos are, are they as profitable as they were? Like, maybe not, but with online and everything, I kind of think things are okay.
I think I don't think it's a 7. I think it needs 8. I think, because we've talked, like, Ocean is not doing amazing, right? Apparently they're not just bleeding money anymore.
Right. Tropicana Golden Nugget aren't doing worse than they were, and Bally's is Bally's.
Right. So I don't think we can say that there are 9 thriving casinos. Like, that would be a lie.
But when there were 7, there weren't 7 thriving casinos either.
It's true.
Like, back then, like, Golden Nugget and Resorts were both, like, incredibly shitty, frankly, and, like, not doing well.
Well, I mean, for a little while, Golden Nugget was the success story, right?
Yeah, Golden Nugget did well for a small, brief period. I mean, but Resorts was, like, doing horrific back then.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. It just seems like the context is completely wrong here. And I think there's an argument to be made that everyone would be doing better if there were 7 casinos, if it was the right 7 casinos or something like that. But I don't think that's his point. I don't think that's the argument he wants to make, because he wouldn't be one of those those casinos at the moment, right?
True. If they were shutting 2 casinos down, I mean, he would be one of them. It would probably be Bally's and Golden Nugget, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ignoring online, which we do, I mean, obviously, I'm sure he's very happy about how online's going, but from an Atlantic City's perspective, and as far as if you're talking about what the right number of casinos are in the market, that has nothing to do with online, right? Like, the online being tied to Atlantic City casinos is
an artificial,
right? It's just a regulation.
Whatever.
It's another one of these things, right? Like a regulation where these companies are like, yes, absolutely, put this regulation in to help Atlantic City casinos with the sort of ulterior whatever of, if this is going to help the city because it will mean that these casinos won't fail, so it's better for you and your residents, but also it'll be making us a ton more money and protecting us from outside competition.
Yeah, no, I'm not for it. I think whatever. Let the free market do its thing. If people want to come in with and make another new casino, like, go for it.
Yeah, so I think we've talked about this, and that's sort of my point is, who would you want to do something different than what they have done, right? Like Ocean, maybe you could argue like it was a mistake to reopen that. I don't know that I'd even agree with that.
It's probably the nicest casino in Atlantic City.
Right, but they've had management problems in both iterations. So I don't think it's necessarily a mistake to open it. It just needs to fix
better management.
Yeah, the issues they've got.
I agree.
Hard Rock is now doing very well. They seem to have made the right decision to open.
They made the right decision for themselves. They didn't make the right decision for the Golden Nuggets.
Right, exactly. So so I think that's sort of where I draw my conclusion that like either he's talking just to vent, or he's talking because he wants regulators or whatever.
I'm sure it's like this thing. I mean, like, I think the point, and whether or not he comes out and says it or not, is going to be like, hey, look, like, if more casinos open, like, casinos are going to close, people are going to lose their jobs. Like, even let's say it's a small casino, like the proposed Hard Rock casino that was going to be 600 rooms or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, this was the one from 10 years ago, right? Like, okay, great, you're adding, like, however many jobs, but you're going to lose 3 times as many when, like, this casino closes down or whatever. But, I don't know, it's just, like, not an interesting argument to me. I don't think the free market is like the panacea that some people make it out to be, but this is the kind of situation that it's very good at figuring out.
We're both really in agreement, which I think maybe doesn't make for as interesting podcasting. But I think
you're wrong.
Yeah, no, but a lot of the feedback and a lot of the feedback in our Facebook group on this was like, yes, he's right. Like, it is not a 9-casino market. So it's worth, even though we're just sort of preaching to each other and agreeing with each other, I think it's worth saying like, hey, step back and like think about what this guy's trying to get out of saying this, and like, is he really right about what he's saying and the way he's putting it out there?
Any part of life, especially in days like these days, in the polarized times that we live in, I mean, there's a lot of statements that if you take a step back on whatever side you're on and whether you agree or disagree with it, I mean, if you just think about like, what's this person really trying to get out of this? And like, a lot of times it's like, I don't know, it becomes pretty clear if you think about it for 3 seconds. And like, in a vacuum, like, what does this statement mean? Like, kind of nothing. He's just, this isn't a 9-casino market. Like, okay, so what? But, you know, he's trying to tell whatever regulators that, like, hey, you need to make sure, like, no more casinos come in.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Is that all we got? That was quick.
That was pretty snappy, yeah. Not too bad. Mr. Cricket has something to say, but
I know. I'm gonna have to see if I can cut Mr. Cricket out of the
he's
out of it
the
in
star.
post.
I'll have to figure out a way to try to get rid of Mr. Cricket before the next episode. But until then, if you want to reach out to us or any of our other listeners, like Due for a Win Best of 2019 author Justin Slotman, you can do so at facebook.com/group/Due for a Win. You can find all of our amazing content at doforawin.com. Find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, and Spotify, but not YouTube. Reach out to Craig at Due for a Win or me at Kyle Askin, and send Craig questions to doforawin@gmail.com. Any last words, Craig?
2 things. We forgot to talk about the Thomas Wesley and Morgan Wallen video shot entirely on the Steel Pier.
Would you say that we forgot to talk about it?
No, I just think it's worth mentioning. People should go listen to this song that is of equality. And
yeah, I mean, I have to say, of, you know, everything AC Casinos fan, Megan Kay seemed to be a big fan of the music video, so
it's I like all the Steel Pier shots. I actually like several Morgan Wallen songs. This is not one of my favorites, but I like seeing so much Atlantic City. I like looking at all the stuff and saying like, oh, hey, there's various Steel Pier. I think they're even in the pub on the Steel Pier at one point, which is great.
Never been.
So that's in my Twitter feed. I don't know if I'll remember to link to it in the show notes since I didn't remember to talk about it in the episode. But the other thing is congratulations to Justin and Beth. Justin, at the very least, is a listener. I don't know if Beth also listens, but I think she's going to be listening to this episode because they are going to be listening on the way to Atlantic City. And I said congratulations because they got married just a couple weeks ago in Las Vegas. So married 2 weeks ago in Vegas, 2 weeks later, probably not actually their honeymoon, but what I'm calling their honeymoon in beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey. So
there's no honeymoon could be better than a honeymoon in Atlantic City.
Absolutely true. Have fun. Enjoy your stay. Give us all the details about, you know, the gambling and stuff, not the other stuff.
I love you, honey, but I'll be at the Pike Out Tiles table for the next 8 hours.
Oh, boy. It's going to be another heavily edited episode, Kyle.
All right, we'll talk to you guys in a couple weeks. All right, let me search on Google. Getting rid of crickets. For natural remedies. No, don't want that. Recruit a child to catch the crickets. That is the stupidest thing I've ever seen.